Hey, howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions Podcast, episode 271. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and co-host, The Riz. How you doing, brother?
It is great to be with you, Chris. Let's do this, man. Let's get rolling. We got a lot of Lions stuff to go through today.
And we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Is that what you're saying?
Eastbound and down, baby. Hell yeah. First movie I ever saw in a theater, Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, nice. It's a good one. I've got to get that one into my son's brain because that is actually a classic. Actually,
your kids need to see that. Got robbed for best film of 1977.
Absolutely, and I'm still bitter.
Me too.
104 years later. All right, we're going to talk about preseason games being cut this year. We got Darius Lee, ever the jilted lover, coming back with a little more. We'll talk about what it means and what to talk about. A little bit of info about the supplemental draft and a whole lot more. Got a great show lined up. Riz, you ready to go, my man?
Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right, time for a couple of quick announcements. First, check us out and help us out on the Patreon. Special thanks to Dylan from of course, our very first donor, Mathis. Brian B. from iPrevailBand.com. Check them out. They got some great stuff going on. And, of course, everybody, we talked about it. We're at patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Got a little lost there, sorry. Anyone who gets aboard, as little as $1 a month, will get you access to the Slack chat. And I tell you right now, in the dearth of content and dearth of intelligent, there's usually a dearth of intelligent Lions chat on the internet, but how bad things are now and how slow the news is right now, to have that Slack chat and just the group of guys there, it's fabulous. What a great group.
It's definitely worth your pocket change.
Yeah.
It's better than buying a wax vac on your late night infomercial binging.
There you go. So check it out, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Of course, you can give a little more if you choose. We're always open. It helps keep the show going, helps us do what we do. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Thank you, everyone who's joined us there. Also, give us a like on the old Facebook, facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast. We're getting pretty active there. Instagram, Detroit Lions Podcast, and on the Twitter machine at DET Lions Podcast. DET Lions Podcast is the very best place to see the Riz
with no pants.
he's almost like fully gone right now.
I almost have no shirt on as well. Yes, I'm modeling my old for those of you who are watching on local access TV, my Chan tank top that I got from the band themselves for using their music as bumper music.
Wow.
At ESPN 96.1 in Grand Rapids. I told them that and they gave me a t-shirt, and so I wear this the last day of Shrine Bowl now practices every year when you're out in the sun.
Right.
And it was sort of my trademark thing. And it's beautiful and sunny today. It's hot. I love it. So I broke it out.
Sun's out, guns out, baby. All right. Subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast, youtube.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're going live. Just like pops up on your phone, on your computer, whatever. It says, hey, the guys are doing stuff. You don't want to miss it. So get in there, get in on that. Also, rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, wherever you find us. Anywhere that lets you give us those 5 stars, please hit that 5-star banger. And if you want to give criticism, constructive or otherwise, head on over to the subreddit, DetroitLions.reddit.com, and we're always up there. We can talk about what you want to do, make the show better for you, make your experience what you believe it should be. How about that? That's nice of us, isn't it, Riz?
You're awesome.
All right, give us a call via Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast. All one word. Just hit the account Detroit Lions Podcast or call us on the Lions line at 929-33-LIONS. It's 929-335-4667. Leave us a message and get a chance to hear yourself on the show.
Tighten your chin straps, kids. It's time to review this week in Reddit.
All right, it's time to talk about the fun and exciting things going down this week in Reddit. And as we said, it's a little bit of a light week, but there's some pretty important things to talk about. I think the first one, though, is fantasy football. We are live. Head on to fantasy.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get registered. Reserve your spot for fantasy football this year and play with us. Get a chance to win some big money, big prizes. We also got the Pro Pick'em pool, where it'll be a big old pool of dough where you get to big old winning out if you top off on that one. That's a cheapie to get into, and then we have 3 different levels of leagues to get into. It's a great way to have fun. You'd be playing against Riz. You'd be playing against Chris. You'd be playing against Case this year. There's a lot of fun. in different leagues. Can't guarantee you'll get one of us in the league because usually we have more than just the 3 leagues, but you have a good chance of playing us along the way. Head on over fantasy.detroitlionspodcast.com and get signed up right away. Get your spot held and have some fun. Again, it's our biggest fundraiser, but half the money goes into pots for the winners, and then also it's no less than 4 winners per league, and people get t-shirts and all kinds of other stuff along the way as well. So it's pretty fun, pretty good, and a lot of good stuff to go. Fantasy.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get in on that. All right, from that, we got to talk about the season's already getting shorter, Riz. They're starting out. They're just trying to. It's just the tip right now. Okay,
just the tip.
They're cutting off a couple of preseason games, and
you don't want to cut off the tip.
I know
that's bad.
Now I know PFT is not our favorite place, right?
No. Well, okay. Other people have since run with it.
Right. But I like to use them because whenever we can make fun of them, we can. And so
we try. Yes.
People were highlighting the fact that, they said, well, they could have just said they cut it in half. But it's important to say that the games 1 and 4 were cut because then you can divine who they'll still be playing versus who they won't. And
exactly.
We are not going to be playing the Patriots and the who's the other?
The Buffalo Bills.
That
was week 1. Week 1 was
the Patriots.
New England. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's yes, that's correct. It's week 1 and week 4. Yes, the Bills was the 4th game.
Yep.
Yes.
So we will be playing the Jets and the Dolphins. Now I know you just kind of casually mentioned this, but we may have just shirked off a really, really big thing as Lions fans.
We did. We have dodged a bullet like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. So no team that has ever gone winless in the regular season has. So let me rephrase.
You said it so much better.
I did. I had it rolling earlier. Stupid rehearsal. So, the 2 teams that have gone winless in the regular season in NFL history, the 2008 Detroit Lions and the 2017 Cleveland Browns, each beat the New England Patriots in the preseason on their way to going winless. So, we cannot beat the Patriots in the preseason, which means we will not go winless. We will win 1 game. At least.
Yes. Every team that has gone with a 0-win season has beat the Patriots in the preseason. Without that risk, we are now the road is paved in gold, right? I mean,
the over-under is above 1.5 now.
All right. So that's it. We got the Jets and Dolphins. Now, when they're cutting these, are they running these in the last 2 weeks of what would have been the preseason? So when games 3 and 4 would have been played, or?
As of yet, that's still scheduled to be weeks 2 and 3, and then they're going to take a little break and reassess where they're at health-wise. And that was agreed upon between the NFL and the NFLPA. All this will come out tomorrow, Thursday, if you're listening to this later. But
pick it here first.
That's right. So they are cutting week 1, week 4, and every team, by the way, the Lions didn't fall into this, but some other teams had it where they had 2 home games or 2 road games scheduled for weeks 2 and 3. The NFL is ironing that scheduling quirk out. Actually, one of the teams that the Lions is playing, and I forget which one it is, has that situation. So one of their games is going to get flipped, but it won't be the Lions game. It'll be the other game that they do.
Right.
So half the exhibition season's gone. We've already we kind of saw this coming, though. I mean, when we talked last week about them canceling the Hall of Fame game and the postponing the induction ceremony in Canton, Ohio.
Yeah,
it's frustrating. But again, it was predictable. I don't think many people expected there to be a full preseason. And quite honestly, there seems to be a lot of people that are taking a victory lap that, oh my God, we got rid of 2 of these meaningless games. Yes, this is great. This is good news. Let's keep this. This is something that we can be happy about. I would just say, be careful what you wish for, because now you're going to have 2 games. If you've got a team that wants rookies to compete, and the Lions will be starting at least 3 rookies this year, you probably want them to get as much action as they can. They have not met their teammates in person yet. They have not suited up in actual football equipment yet. They will not probably until I'm gonna give it 10 days before that first preseason game. will be the first time that they actually go like full uniform and not just shorts and shells.
Right.
That's going to be asking a lot for a team. Now the Lions are in somewhat better shape because they're not starting a rookie quarterback. The offensive coordinator is back, which is nice. There's some continuity there. You still have your head coach. Most of your offensive line, although not all of it, is back. So the wide receivers the top 3 are still in place. There are some benefits from it, but it's I hate sloppy football, Chris.
Yeah, I do too.
You know this.
Yep.
And you always losing these games is going to make those first 2 weeks of the regular season that much sloppier, and I don't care for that.
No, I agree 100%. That's one of the things that, last year it seemed to be more prevalent across the NFL than in years prior, but it really seemed like those first couple of weeks were just kind of sloppy is the word. But it's just gross football, right? And I hate to say gross football because, look, the other side of it is any football after this long drought, that's the off season, and really after the draft. I like OTAs and training camp and all that, but there's that gap in there, and it's miserable. That's, of course, all the writers. Everybody takes their time off now. Look at Riz. He's showing the results of his first week of really doing that. But it's so hard as a fan, right? So you really want this stuff. Training camp still up in the air, really dying. I have to say, everyone, I'm really sorry, but I think that the training camp, the whole idea of the party and everything else this year, is really on the back burner. And we are looking at that whole concept of a Super Bowl party or something, because I don't think it's going to be open for people. I don't know that Michigan's going to be open for people after, what they're doing.
Just to update on that, this afternoon, as of July 1st, Governor Whitmer axed indoor bar seating. Mm-hmm. So you cannot eat. You can still eat indoors. And you can go to breweries because they are not retail distributors. They are, I forget what, like distilleries and breweries or something separate. But like restaurants, you cannot go to the bar in a restaurant anymore. You can't. It's that got whacked today because we're having an increase in positive tests.
Can you float around in a boat with a motor now?
Yes.
Oh, that was kind
of Some things have been relaxed, and you can get drinks to go now, which is kind of nice.
That's always been something we should have had. So that's kind of up in the air, guys and gals.
And honestly, I have not officially gone through the process of applying for credentials for training camp yet, but I don't know if media is going to be allowed there, to be honest with you. And if we're not allowed there, you can better believe that the fans will not be allowed there.
Yeah, no, I think media will be allowed, but the fans won't, although they'll be probably highly selective with credentialing because that room is already crowded, right? The interview room. Yes.
They'll probably take every other chair out, which means that there's room for about 12 people,
right? And it's gonna get real tough to get your credentials this year. So we'll see how that goes. There may be like levels of credentials for the interview room, and then also you have
and then you can get to go outside in the media tower. There's a little bit more spacing out there. Maybe they will allow, if there's no fans there, for the media to go on the sideline that's over there on the far field where the fans are, where you and Mathbaum got in trouble last year.
Yeah, still won't let us film though.
No.
God, no. And it's the time to do it. It's the time to say this part of practice is open for filming, right? So people can get those highlights and get those things to share, and then close out the rest of it, because that you need to involve the fans. You need to bring them that hype. You need to bring it to them.
They would designate. It wasn't long, but it would be like, okay, this is the open filming portion for the media, and we now cannot even do that. We can't post clips on Twitter. We will get removed from the premises.
I came close.
And they do have somebody watching that too, as we have learned.
Me and Mathbaum came real close last year. Me and the security guy, I don't want to say we came close to blows, but we came close to bumping chests. And it was stupid. And like I said, we talked it out the next day and it was all good. We became really good friends, but We just had to get to an agreement and see where things were. So yeah, we'll see where that is. We will do a party. I mean, it's our listener appreciation party is what it's all about. Getting you guys
we'll get to it at some point, but don't count on it being in the normal schedule time, which is usually the first Friday or Saturday in August.
Yeah, yep.
That's probably not going to happen this year.
And speaking of Mr. Birdmath, I got your email. I have to find the time to get back with you, but yeah to everything that you sent me. Just so you know, a little private, little radio for one there, podcasting for one. Okay, so we got that. There's something, Riz. I'm looking at you here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely are showing the signs of the summer. And so my wife she always watches, and I always get the critique on how we're doing and stuff, right? But she sent me something, and I've got to put it on screen because she sent me a gift. Let me see if I can get this to work here.
Oh no!
Hold on.
All right.
Okay, come
on. Focus, Daniel-san. Focus.
Oh, wait, let me get behind it. It'll do it. A little bit of Richard Simmons.
No.
Richard Simmons. Come on, Riz, lead us. We gotta work.
I don't have an afro.
We're sweating to the oldies.
I was sweating today.
So you were on vacation. How was it? I know. So first off, let's talk about the big phobia, right? If there's one we share, right?
Yeah,
and we learned we shared it at Senior Bowl, not this year, but the year prior, heading over.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a long story to get there, right? It's we flew into New Orleans because flying into Mobile is just horrific. This year awful. I didn't believe it, or I was going to gut through it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I am never ever flying into Mobile again.
Nope.
Thanks Delta, it's nice, but boy, those seats it's like trying to squeeze into a toddler seat in the plane because it's a little job, and I'm a small fella. it was not good for anybody. So, and then even the overheads are undersized. I just have a backpack, right? And I couldn't even barely get that in the overhead. Just nuts, right? So flying in New Orleans is the way. Now, for those who haven't been there or haven't done the drive from New Orleans through Mississippi to Alabama, there's some really, really big bridges that you go over.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah. And they're
one of them comes up pretty quick right after the New Orleans airport. Too.
Yeah. And we were on the run when we did it because it was when the bad pass interference call was made. We saw that in the airport.
That was the first football play we saw that entire weekend. We had just landed. We were walking past, had our Smoothie King in hand, walking out. We see that play, and we're like, we need to get the hell out of Dodge.
And it was a riot ready to burst out at the airport, right? The people waiting in the security line. It was like, so we're like, we probably ought to hurry because we got to go by the stadium, right, to get where we're going.
Yeah,
it would have been like, hey, we should get moving because the game's almost over and they're going to pour out. But now it's like, and they're not happy, and we don't belong here, right? We're not from around here.
We are not your kind.
So we were booking along pretty good, and then all of a sudden it's just like, whoop. You're driving up, and that's when Riz was driving in. That's when Riz says, yeah, I'm not really comfortable driving over bridges. I'm like, really? Because I'm not really comfortable with them either. It's when we learned if we'd have got blown off that bridge or whatever, when they would have recovered the bodies, those seats both would have been, we'd had a hard lock on them with our butts, and they would have had to take the seats out to get us out of the car. It was so funny. So that being said, right, the story to get to the story. In order to do your thing, you were going to the UP. You had to cross the Mackinac Bridge, Big Mac.
My family and I all went to the UP for the first time, so we did Big Mac. So I made sure that my wife was going to be driving in that little section because I have had mixed results with the bridges. Like New Orleans, I was okay.
Right.
I have gone over the Bay Bridge in Annapolis in Maryland several times, and only once, and it was in a thunderstorm, was I ever like, oh, this is bad. But there's a bridge in Florida. It's right by, going south from St. Pete into the Bradenton area.
Yeah.
When I'm there, my family, I have a lot of family that lives in the Sarasota area, so I go down there a lot. I got to cover that bridge. What I don't like about that bridge is that there's an old bridge that a boat ran into and killed people, and it's still there.
And it's
I don't want to see that.
It's also one of the number one suicide spots in Florida and maybe the nation.
Oh, great.
People try to jump off that bridge all
now I know where to go.
Time. And it's easy. I hate to say it. I mean, I'm not trying to help you. Don't do it, right? Obviously, seek help if you think you feel bad.
Yes,
we all
please,
love you.
please don't do that.
We love you all. There's a reason to be here. But I mean, it's really, people just have grown, and the bridge itself, just the design is so non-standard that you're just like, I just don't feel good here.
It's an awkward one, and you have to like the big gap in it so boats can go underneath it.
And they close it all the time for wind. Like it's just we're just getting a thunderstorm.
Yeah. So I actually got stuck in Sarasota one time. I didn't want to have to drive like all the way up 75, all the way through North Tampa and cut back down. It would have been like a 2.5 hour drive. So I wound up just staying down one day. I actually missed a Senior Bowl or a Shrine Game practice because of that. I'm like, this isn't worth it.
No.
The worst bridge for me, though, is the one that's in Ontario, in Hamilton, Ontario. I don't know if you've ever been up on that. When you're at the bottom of it, the top is like moving in the wind. And I've been on it twice, and both times it's like, I don't know where I'm going to. And I freaked out.
Moving bridges are my bane. And they'll have the double-decker bridges where you drive one way up or an under. And I don't mind being under so much.
The bridge from Oakland to San Francisco. That's a bad one.
Yeah.
that was rough. I didn't like that one either.
Oh, good times. Good times. All right. Yeah. So we'll go on. You did your trip. You're looking good. Yeah, so, you got your Richard Simmons gear going.
Hey, come on now. You gotta respect the chawniness.
Yeah, you're showing a nice, a little bit past tan on the face, though.
Well, I mean, I don't have the Tommy Lee action working, thankfully, but I do have a little bit of.
What happened with Tommy Lee?
Tommy Lee got a couple of face tattoos.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're not good either.
Power to you, but I've just never been a big fan of the face tattoo.
Yeah. So he got like a star burst over the one eye, and he got Chinese characters that probably mean I'm an idiot taped down like his left
number 4, please.
They're not for me. And he's not a young dude. He's got to be in his mid 50s anyways.
Yeah.
And I mean
but I don't know if he has anything left to tattoo at this point. He's got to be pretty covered at this point, right?
Yes, and we've seen a lot of Tommy Lee, and we know that he's fairly well covered.
Oh, you called. There you go. Tommy Lee called. All right, yeah, no, okay. Well, you look good, man. And I'm sorry about Tommy Lee.
That's okay.
We got Summer Riz. It's the summer of Riz. It's kind of like the
Never
summer
meet
of
your
George.
heroes. Summer of George.
The summer of Riz. And you're out next week too, again, are you?
Yes, I'm going down. My dad turns 75 next week, so I'm going down to Cleveland to celebrate with him and my siblings. Get all our family together.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
All right. We got a complaint after the last show that someone was like, after all this time and all this thing, we don't get to see Riz there with no pants on. Right?
Oh.
And I'm really proud of my comment. I was like, you're just not hanging out in the right McDonald's bathrooms. That's for long-time listeners' sake.
Go to the one on Worthington Galena Road outside of Columbus.
All right, let's
where the magic happens.
The magic. Really quick before we get into Darius Lee, I want to talk about CBD.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Great way to work with, like I said, if you have insomnia, if you have just some pain that you're trying to get through.
If your face tattoo hurts.
If your face tattoo hurts or your face burn. I'm surprised you didn't put tape on your face and put like a something, some design burnt into your face.
Like the designer eye patches like Tim Tebow had.
Yeah. A great way to overcome your workout pain or whatever is the CBDs. We found great use for it. We've talked about it before on the show. It's legal in 50 states. It's not like it gets you baked out of your brains or anything like that, but it's really good. Helps with joint pain, helps with muscle pain, helps you just kind of get through the things that kind of get you down during the day. And I got to tell you, I have just a couple of pieces here. I've got the watermelon. I got to cover my face in order for it to work. The watermelon chill gummies. Those are delicious. I mean, I would like to eat a fistful of those, but I'm afraid what would happen. I wouldn't feel anything for a week. Yeah. No, those. I am telling you what, for sleep especially, you bounce one of those down and it's like your whole body just kind of goes. It's it's melty. It's just so good, and it's not like
that sounds nice.
Yeah, it's not a high, right? It's just, and it's like it's just a super like an anti-anxiety medication almost. How you just get this calmness over your body. Pretty cool. I've been through also a bottle of the Chong's Choice gummies. Yeah. And I actually just got the new bottle sent over. Yeah, they're again absolutely delicious. No hint that it's anything but a gummy bear or a watermelon one. And those are great. And then this other one that I got, and this is what I got for my mother-in-law, and this is a new bottle for me too. This is the full spectrum CBD oil. This one I moved up to the 550 from the 250. The 250 was working good, but I figured I could use it slower and make it last longer. It just comes in a little like an eyedropper bottle, and you just put like 2 drops under your tongue. And that's
really,
all it does.
That's all you do.
Yep, and it goes to town. So hey, if you're interested in that, like I said, it's working for me. My mother-in-law, definitely a seasoned citizen, finds a lot of relief out of it. So if you're looking for some pain relief or some insomnia help, or you want to get back to the workout sooner, I definitely recommend hitting cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. Hook up with the Chong's Choice, or the oil is the easiest one. It's basically taste free, and it's really good. So there you go, cbd.detroitlionspodcast.com. So we get a kickback and help support the show. All right, let's talk a little bit. We had a couple of questions come in, and I want to hit them really quick, Riz.
All right.
This is in the chat. First, what do you think the ceiling is? All right, we're talking about the ceiling for the Lions defense. 2 years ago, we were top 10 in passing and rushing defense, but 28th in DVOA. Who's going to be, and then also the second question, who's going to be the better corner, Amani or the guy we signed from Atlanta?
No. I would say, to answer the Trufant's ahead of Amani Oruwariye.
Yeah.
Now, Oruwariye played well at the end of his rookie season. He played very well against Washington, a game where Darius Lee was dreadful. And I think a lot of people have elevated their opinion of Oruwariye because of that. Because, like, oh my God, here's Terry McLaurin, a rookie who's really good, by the way.
Love him.
Just torching Darius Slay left and right. And Oruwariye is handling business.
Yep.
He's doing it against Kelvin Harmon and other dudes who aren't going to be in the league anymore. And that context is important. But he did look good. And the rest of the time, he looked like a rookie cornerback. He didn't look like he was overwhelmed. He didn't look like the game was too big for him. It just looked like he had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And I expect him to be the number 3 outside cornerback this year. And if he's your number 3 outside cornerback, I think you have a pretty good cornerback group. Yeah. I think Trufant as a number 2 is perfect. It's exactly what you want. It's the same deal as when Rasheed Mathis came into town.
Yeah.
And the Lions specifically, he's not our number 1. He's here to help everybody else get better and provide a veteran presence. You're hoping that you're getting that late career hiccup year. And the Lions got that from Rasheed. He was great.
Yeah, for like 2 years we got him, right?
Yes, he fell off pretty badly at the end, and he knew it too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he knew that it was time to go. Trufant's not that old yet. I believe he's only 29, I want to say.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's just 29. But he's been a good, not great cornerback for a long time, and that's what the doctor ordered. That's better than Rasheed Melvin was.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'll tell you, I think what I'd like to see is Oruwariye this year take a step in front of Trufant. That's the kind of growth where at the beginning of the year, I see Trufant being the better cornerback for us. But hoping, right, and hope is the plan right now because you don't know how a guy's going to progress. But it's year 2. Right. He started looking good last year. You hope to see him progress past Trufant this year and take over and solidify that number 2 slot. And I have to ask something. As you talked about Terry McLaurin, who I loved immensely.
Yes. Yeah.
He practiced against Geoffrey Okuda, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
They spent time. Geoffrey Okuda spent time in training already against a guy who came into the NFL at that level, that caliber of a player. That's only made him a better cornerback.
Remember when we were at the Senior Bowl and we interviewed Dan Hope from 11 Warriors, my friend Dan, who came in and talked to us about the Ohio State guys? He brought that up. He's like, Okuda was so vicious in practice going up against NFL receivers.
Yep.
And they got a lot of them at Ohio State. And he's gone against NFL quarterbacks in there too. Joe Burrow. Right. They were practicing on the second team together, second team offense versus second team defense for a full year.
Yeah.
So he's got the experience. Just everything we've heard about him is that he is just devouring film, that he's a fanatical worker. Corey Unlin joked that he had to make him back off, which is just crazy to me.
That's good. That's what you want.
That's a good thing. That's a very good thing.
It's because it's different than what we feel like we got from Slay, right?
The other thing that you can say is that if it works out that Oruwariye is good enough to trust on the outside and you have Trufant who can also be out there, you can move Okuda into the slot. That's Justin Coleman's domain, but Coleman was based on what I've seen, he was pretty hit and miss. He had some good games, he had some rough games. Yeah. And I think that's probably going to be the story of his carer, no matter where he's at. Yeah. So
I feel good about corner on the Detroit Lions. I really do. I really do.
Honestly, the entire secondary.
Yeah,
I think is the strength of the team. I think it's one of the very best secondaries in the league. They're not going to get the credit for it because their pass defense was brutal last year. I think anybody who has watched that team knows that there were mitigating circumstances there. The linebackers were dreadful. Will Harris as a rookie safety looked like a bad rookie safety. And,
there's some growth opportunity.
But the lack of pass rush was the paramount reason why that secondary broke down. They did not get any help from anybody up front. I'm not sure they're going to get a lot this year either, but it'll be a little bit better. I hope.
I think it seems improved, but it's not, dramatically improved.
Yeah, they got the secondary should be without question the best in the NFC North. Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if they wind up being, as a secondary unit with PFF, as one of the top 5 or 6 secondaries in the entire league. Because PFF, they stop the clock on the secondary at 3.2 seconds on the pass rush. Yeah. Anything after that, they're not responsible for that.
Sure. I just got to tell you, I just got this back. My wife felt terrible about the Richard Simmons thing. So she came up with this and said, hey, no, this is more like the Riz I'm seeing here.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. There you go. Good. All right, so we got that going.
But I don't want to kill people.
So any questions any concerns about Tavai's return in respect to his shoulder?
We have not heard that. That was something that was asked of Patricia, and I want to say his first Zoom this offseason, and he sort of like, well, we don't really know because we haven't been able to see him yet.
Right.
We have not seen any video of Jelani working out this offseason, and he has been a guy who has done that in the past. So it's hard to say right now. Yeah. Shoulder injuries are weird. They can be cleared up instantly. They can linger forever.
Yeah.
Anything that inhibits his time getting back on the field is rough. But he's
any joint is really difficult to ascertain until you know what you have. You can't guess, right? You have to get out there and use it and see how well it still works. So
again, that's where this whole pandemic has really wreaked havoc with medical things like that, because you can't. We take Matthew Stafford's word for it that his back is fine, and everything that we've seen of him, hauling his kids around. By the way, congratulations to the Staffords on baby number 4.
I was going to say, and in the fathering of children, his back seems just fine.
Yeah, I think he's doing okay. So let's go back 9 months. 9 months ago would have been.
That's when he threw it out, right?
Yeah, week 8. Yeah. So, but we don't know. Hawkinson is still not running full speed.
But he is warming up and practicing with Stafford.
He was, but he's not at full
social distancing, not wearing masks.
Dude, don't even get started on that. Tom Brady is going to bring down the whole league because of that. It's scary.
They're going to wear scrubs and surgical, like the hats, the whole thing. That's going to be the new uniform. Oh God.
I know the NFLPA is working very hard on trying to weigh the people that are like, oh my God, he's going to breathe on me and I might get sick. And there are NFL players who believe that. And there are NFL players who are like, he can deep throat me for all I care. Let's go out there and play. Those poor choice of words.
I just reminded of Slack from a couple days ago, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just
yeah. See, that's why you got to get the Slack, get the Patreon on it, because you'll know what the heck we're talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot of inside baseball.
There is.
Yeah.
But yes, injury stuff is very tough to know until we actually get in front of them. We have not seen these people in person. The Lions have not seen these people in person. So.
Yep. All right, so let's lead this into then the other topic we had. Darius Lee, I'm my editorial here, ever the jilted lover, decides to share that the Lions didn't disguise their coverages. My goodness, the Monty Kiffin line again from the Slack, right? Because this is the best take that I've seen on this.
Right.
I've seen all kinds of pearl clutching and hand wringing and finger pointing and I hate the Lions because they're bad at everything and all this other crap. But you made the greatest point. And
execution. execution is everything. You go back, and Monty Kiffin is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was the defensive coordinator who came up with the Tampa 2 coverage system. They run the same freaking defense on every freaking play. It doesn't matter who's on the field for the offense. They run a 4-3 cover 2 with the safeties going out in the back. They know it, and it's all about execution. It's all about managing the play in front of you. Do your job.
Yep.
Doesn't matter that they know where we're going to be. We're good enough that we can make it happen. Now, it takes having Derek Brooks and John Lynch and Rondé Barber and a lot of really good players up front to make that work, Warren Sapp. But, my God, if you can't execute, it doesn't matter.
Right.
This was a team that last year the linebackers were literally running into each other in coverage because they didn't know what they were doing. And a lot of times the safeties were getting in their way.
Can you imagine how confused they'd have been if they were trying to
Can
cover
you imagine
what they were doing?
asking Jared Davis to think more? Come on. It does. Would it be better? Would it be better if the offense didn't know what the defense was doing? Yes, it would.
But when you got
would
the
that
defense,
mean that the defense is going to stop them?
When the defense doesn't know what the defense is doing, you got to send fucking Jared Davis out with a calculator to figure out how many guys are on the field because he's taking a little long on the brain on the mental math here.
It's like Ernie Sims back when he was back there being in coverage, and he'd yell out the coverages, and he spoke with that such a drawl. Nobody understood what the hell he was saying. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I remember Stephen Tulloch saying that.
And I'm going to take the Monty Kiffin example to a little bit further and say one of the things that these coaches were doing with these players, and I think it played out, and I think Slay was one of the ones that was a casualty of this, was we're going to see how good these guys really are. Because Monty Kiffin knew how good his guys were because they had to execute. They had to do their job. They had to.
Yes, they did.
And Matt Patricia and the defensive coordinators and the defensive coaches were able to kind of look at these guys and say, what is their actual skill set, and get a real example and body of work and resume for how good these guys were at doing what they needed to do. And I think that's what helped them form whatever we're going to see this year. And this COVID thing really screws, I think, with a lot of that, with conditioning and all the other stuff that goes with it. But the idea that they knew they were going to get another year and they were going to use that to change this locker room to the like Wayne Fonts said in the interview we did with him, he talked about it. You get rid of the guys that don't fit.
That's why Slay and Diggs and unfortunately Kennard and Snacks.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Yeah. This gave them all of the data they needed on the guys to understand what they could do, couldn't do, and I think that is how the kind of more of a long game, right?
I agree with that. So this stemmed from if you're not sure what we're talking about, Devontae Adams of the Packers went on with Brian Baldinger he does weird breakdowns they're actually kind of fun. Mm-hmm. I don't think he always knows exactly what he's talking about, and I say that with all due respect because he was an NFL player for a long time, but he's very excitable, and they're fun to watch. Yeah. So he did one with Devontae Adams, and it's really good, by the way. It says a lot about Devontae Adams versus Aaron Rodgers, and also like the Packers in general. Excuse me, about how so. Adams said that we all knew whether the Lions were going to be in man or zone if Darius Slay followed me when I went in motion, and he always goes in motion.
Yep.
So I'm get back to that in a second. When he went in motion, if Slay traveled with him, he knew they were playing man. If he didn't, he knew they were playing zone. I can tell you from watching. I'm in the middle of watching the Raiders game right now, the All-22. I could have told you that from picking that up, after 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. This is not breaking news. It's one of the reasons why teams run motion, so your quarterback can figure it out. That's one of the reasons why Jim Bob Cooter was a flippin' idiot, because he never ran motion, so the quarterback would be back there, and I don't know what coverage they're in because I don't have any markers to read on this.
Right.
That's why you go in motion, to figure these things out. Good quarterbacks will figure that out anyways. It's not, again, would it be better if they didn't know? Yes, it would. Is it a deal killer that they knew? No. And you have to point to – so Adams missed the first Packer-Lions game last year. He was hurt. Mm-hmm. The second Packer game, with Aaron Rodgers knowing all this information, and Slade did play in that game, you know what? Aaron Rodgers threw more incompletions in a game than he ever had before that game. Knowing what defensive coverage was, knowing that Rashawn Melvin and Justin Coleman and Amani Oruwariye and Will Harris were the primary defenders back there. And I think Tracy Walker, I believe he was out for that game.
Yep.
You got to execute. It's all about execution.
And I think
the deception's nice, but
it's just part of it. You can't rely on it solely for what you do. And I'll tell you, I think the Packers offense is one that takes the Monty Kiffin example on the offensive side of the ball in that you know what we're going to do. We're just going to beat you. We're going to beat you. You've got to find a way to stop us, period.
You know on 2nd and 7, they are running a stretch zone run to the right.
Yep.
That's what they do. Stop it.
Yeah. That's it. That's the Packers. So, I mean, to say, the Packers are calling us out and the dumb Lions fire Patricia, all the stuff that I've seen from this, it's silly because it's their offense, the Green Bay offense was doing the exact same thing, right? It's a challenge and it's a play to your strengths and it's a hard-nosed football and it's like you believe in your people and they go out and execute. They do their job, as we said. And like you said, no one out there is talking about the lack of completions on the part of the Packers and the record number of incompletions on a decimated Lions defense.
He was 27 for 55 that day.
Think about that. Who wouldn't love
against the Lions?
Yeah,
who had the worst defense in the league going into that game.
Exactly. So it's one of those things that it's
old friend Jim Schwartz. You know what defense he's running? 90% of the time, he's running zone with his wide nines. He doesn't care that you're going to run through that gap. He really doesn't because you're not throwing the ball. They want you to run the ball. They want you to go ahead and beat us. I bet that my guy is better than your guy. That's what that kind of football is all about.
Yep. And for the
Lions weren't good enough to do that last year.
And for the hungry, hard-headed players, I'm taking it to extreme here, right? So don't use this as an example, but like the Brian Cushing types, right? The guys are just like, I like hitting, I like ball, right? And then take the juice and put that aside. But right, those kind of guys, love that kind of football. They love being able to go out and beat the hell out of somebody and be given the opportunity to do that. And that's the type of defense that we're looking for. And that's a real cultural shift. A guy like Slay isn't like that. He's more swag. He's more a little more fluid.
He's more of the I want to be an island corner and show off.
Yeah.
Now he's really good at that, and I genuinely do not mean that as a disparagement. Mm-hmm. That's his style, and it suits him very well. He's had a very good career doing that.
Yep. And I'll tell you, just I hope this is true, right? But someone in Ryan, he says, "My God, this guy's like a psycho ex-girlfriend," right? Because he keeps talking about the team. I think that he may recognize that there's a lot of good stuff happening here. It may not be fully baked yet, but there's a lot of good stuff happening, and he is that jilted lover who isn't here, that's not going to be able to take part of it. He spent a lot of tough years here being really, really
He
good.
Was here for a long time, and he really gave his all, and I will guarantee you everything he said positive about liking Detroit is 100% true. Yeah. He liked Detroit. He really did.
Yep. And he was really, really good for all that time, right? But there's this thing. I mean, I just saw what was it, 2 days ago? He was up there talking about number 9, right? Being the guy and kind of defend him. Love that. He's done that a couple of times. Several ex-Lions, by the way, have come out and done that recently, which is kind of nice. Staff is obviously a really lovable guy, right? I mean, he's good, and he's just a good.
It's weird because he's so his persona is so like.
It's a different kind of leadership.
He's not the rah-rah guy that Darius Slay is, and it's interesting that Marvin Jones is kind of the same way, and he is a leader. They just don't have that, Slade was sort of that guy. They don't really have the, fire him up guy. And I think that's kind of by design now. I don't think Patricia likes that particularly much as something that
But he sure likes to be that guy.
most Belichick disciples don't like.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why DeAndre Hopkins is not in Houston anymore, because Bill O'Brien didn't like it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and it goes back to what we talked about last time, that for better or for worse, whatever happens out of this Quinn and Patricia experiment, or maybe it's the long-term thing, we'll see. This year I think will be very, very dictative it will dictate where where this winds up. And the one thing though that comes out of this that we'll be able to walk away with Lions fans is finally that culture of accepting losing and just that culture that needed to change, like we said, since Font's time here has finally been broken, I think. And I think that's going to help the team no matter where we wind up next year and the year after. Who's at the helm? That's just going to help this team be a heck of a lot better than they have historically.
Long term. Short term, the year after Quinn and Patricia is going to be brutal. They're going to be the worst team in football because so many of their signings are specifically tailored to playing Patricia football.
Yeah.
And it's a specific type of football that not everybody can play. You go back in the history and look at Bill Parcells. When he leaves a team, they get awful. Awful.
Yep. But Quinn and Patricia will land somewhere. And that opens the door to a whole lot of trade action.
I think Quinn will. I don't know if Patricia will get something right away.
Maybe not.
I think he's going to have to go back to playing defense for a little bit, especially if it's after this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree 100%. But he'll get a gig, right?
I would say this honestly. I would like to see him watching the way he taught the players at the Senior Bowl. I would love to see him become a college coach. I think he'd be really good at that.
Oh god.
I think recruiting would be tough for him. But I think just the way, the enthusiasm with which he taught people and with which how quickly he figured out, like, okay, this player needs to be pushed. This player needs positive reinforcement. This player just needs okay, let's go. We'll watch it in the film room together and go over it then.
Can you imagine?
He figured all that out really quickly.
Can you imagine? And it'll never happen, right? But as coaches, you get Patricia and Harbaugh on the same team as college coaches. It would be the first Division I college coach never to get anyone to sign.
Oh God, they'd kill each other. They would absolutely kill each other.
That would be like the first Hard Knocks college edition. It would make whatever a network $1 gajillion. That would be hilarious to watch.
I'd watch.
Oh God! All right, really quick. We're moving on from Darius. Again, I guess maybe to wrap that up. Love this guy as a Lions player. Loved him over the years. He was spectacular. He was a great player, and he did it on bad teams and teams that we all knew were bad, and he held his head high and he played hard. And that kind of heart and soul into this team for fans is something you don't forget. You know what I mean? Matthew Stafford's done the same thing, but Darius Lee, there's a lot of credit for that same attitude.
Like you said, they have the jilted lover thing now. Like, we want to get away from him, and he has not been an angel by any means, and he's said some things that probably honestly needed to be said about the Lions organization, but at the same time, it's tough for us to hear it because we don't want to hear it. I think in 5 to 10 years after everything settled down, I think the Lions fan base is going to really embrace him again.
Yeah, that may be the case.
Sort of the way they have done with Jim Schwartz, who was not at all like everybody when he left. Like, oh, get this bum out of here! I hope he dies. Yeah.
They
just they didn't want to ever like live again, let alone get another job. Right. And now people are like, you know what? Wasn't so bad, was it?
Yeah. No. We at least had hope. Now there's a lot of people that don't. So Joshua makes a big prediction. This season will end with Patricia getting a Gatorade bath. Well, we'll see. I'd love it. I really believe that guy has the right stuff. If he doesn't do it here, he's going to do it somewhere eventually. He's got what it takes to be a good coach. He's learning and growing along the way. Nice. Wouldn't that be something?
It would be so nice. So nice.
All right, really quick. Couple things. We try to combine these things, and again, we try to do all these things in a way that you guys get value out of them. Amazon, Fanatics, those kinds of things. Fanatics, what the hell is that? That's where you get all your merchandise, your Lions shirts, your Lions hats, your Lion hoodies, your Lion onesie, your Lions blankets, your grill mats. Oh, anything you can think. And it's not just Lions, though. You can do MLB, NBA, NHL, which we won't even talk about that draft. Jeez. And then all your collegiate sports as well, right? All that stuff's available. It's the official, high-quality, good stuff. Head on over, fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. They give us a kickback for everything you buy, but you get to show off your studliness and your support for your teams. And I still say, get yourself that Okuda jersey, that number 1, because I think that number 1 Okuda jersey is going to be something special because it's going away. He's going to get a number, and there never will be another one of those. It's a limited edition deal right now.
Those things can be collector's items. Nick Chubb, when he got to the Browns, wore number 11. briefly, like for the first 2 weeks of rookie camp. And people actually ordered that, and now obviously he couldn't wear it. He just wore it because that was what was available.
And if you get that thing signed along the way, ooh boy, you got yourself some real collectible right there.
He's gonna be good, guys.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about Geoffrey Okuda.
I'm really stoked. I tell you, Swift too. I'm really stoked about Swift. I forget. I'm sorry. So sorry. Maybe I'll look real quick and find it. We got sent that video.
Did Malcolm send it to us?
Yes, Malcolm. How did I forget it was Malcolm? Silly me.
We love Malcolm.
Yeah, he's awesome. If you guys are looking for a executive director, VP, director level of marketing, let me know. I've got a guy named Malcolm who's your guy, by the way.
Yeah, he's a very sharp cookie.
But he sent us the look of Swift, the film of Swift, and boy, it was
rumbling, bumbling, stumbling through tackles, throwing people down.
God, my pants were immediately off. It was good stuff. So
needed a little towel action there.
Good stuff there. All right. Also, Amazon is the same way as Fanatics, and Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. We get a kickback when you go there. Remember, look, it's really simple. You just type in those. It's a few extra keystrokes, but it takes you right to the Fanatics site, or it takes you right to Amazon. We just set a cookie along the way, and they know that we sent you there. And because we sent you, we get credit for it, and they give us a kickback. Doesn't cost you more ever. And they give us a little something for that. So anybody who does that, thank you for you folks that are doing your shopping on Amazon that way, or Fanatics, or get your CBD at DetroitLionsPodcast.com. All right, really quick.
So many things we can do.
We want to talk about the supplemental draft. I can't wait. That's ready to go any time, Riz. Who are we going to pick? What are we going to get? Where are we at?
Along with the other 31 teams in the league, we will not be picking anybody because there is no supplemental draft this year, Chris. It has been whacked.
I was so stoked for that.
And I believe I had that.
We had a live show
a few
planned.
months ago. I believe I had that called. There was a lot of suspicion early on that with the uncertainty surrounding the college football season, and that's still a very uncertain situation, much more so than the NFL situation.
Yep. My Georgia Tech guy is telling me that it's just a mess. That when they report, who reports when, it's a mess.
And more teams that have done their conditioning, like scores of people, using the scores term in the colloquial way that it was actually used, 20-something, that they're getting a lot of positive tests. And again, positive test is not a death sentence. Make that very clear. Most people who get it might not even know that they have it.
Yeah, the daily death rate is just dropping like crazy. It's where it was at mid-March now.
The death rate, again, for people in Michigan that do not live in a nursing home or smoke, you are more likely to hit the pick 3 lottery 3 consecutive days than you are to die of COVID.
I'm going pick 3, baby. That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting because we talked about the summer and the heat making it go away. Maybe the result of the virus is less in the summer. It always feels bad getting sick in the summer.
Viruses do weaken over time. Yeah. That's something that happened with what was the one from Ebola. Ebola, the one that makes your eyes bleed.
Yep.
The virus, as it acclimated to humanity, it figured out that it was killing people too much. The viruses don't want you to die. That's a fail on the virus's part. They need you as a host organism, so they get less severe, so that they can have you as a host.
The virus gets to say too. They want to live too, right? And they do it. They tend to mutate. Unfortunately for them, unfortunately for us, they often mutate in a way that makes them weaker. And
yes,
that's just kind of where it lands. But so that's going on. Death rate's going down. Infection rate's going up. It's crazy. And let's be honest. The other side, I just saw a thing when people are getting tested. Some positive tests, people are showing up, and they actually just have the common cold because somehow it's not, because the common cold is a corona-based virus as well, and somehow it's not able to differentiate. Correct. Right. I'm just going to tell you this whole thing. This whole thing has been an S show since the beginning. I guess I can say a shit show since the beginning. The data, some people want higher data, some people want lower data, and all the data is a scrambled mess. We have no idea what reality is. And so it's hard to make policy decisions and real decisions with all this scrambled up data.
That's exactly
you just have to do what's right for you. That's really it. And when it's if somebody says you got to wear a mask in a place, you got to wear a mask in a place, right? That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. That's the rules, right? That's the rules. It's just like you can't, no shoes, no service, right? It's the rules. You got to do it. That's that. Do you have to wear a mask around your house, your neighborhood, where they don't? No. It's a personal choice. It absolutely is. I want people to wear masks. I don't go out. I hate people anyway, so I tend to stay inside mostly.
You do hate people. That's true.
I say that in a weird way because I really do love people, but I hate them. Like when I just do my day-to-day stuff, people just irritate me. But like I go out, I choose to wear one just because, right? And it's not a statement one way or another, right? It's just a personal assessment of risk that I've made, and I move on from there. That's what you have to do. When the rules say it, just do it. When it doesn't say it, and if you don't want to, then you don't have to, right? That's that. We get along. It's never going to be easy to get through something like this. Everybody's just got to kind of work together, and everybody has different beliefs. The thing I've seen with all these different messed up numbers, science has been co-opted. We say believe the science, but the science has been now politicized all over the place by both sides.
Which science do you believe?
Yeah, you just have to make those choices. Follow the rules, make those choices, and I know the stress level's high because of all the craziness, but just do your best, right? That's all you got to do, folks. And we're not telling you one way or the other is right, but right, you just need to make that assessment.
I don't think anybody really knows where this virus is going yet, and that's one of the reasons why there's so much mystery, and consternation about everything. Yeah. Why every little thing sets everybody off. Everybody's very touchy about it.
Yeah, it's super stressful. Something like crazy. This, right?
I don't like wearing a mask. I do wear a mask. Mm-hmm. I was encouraged. I went to the store today, and I would say that 80 to 90% of the people inside the Meijer in Holland were wearing masks. At Aldi, they will not let you in the building unless you are wearing a mask. So everybody was there. It was cool to see that, because the faster that we realize that if you're going to get it, you're going to get it, and people who get it recover. If you don't know that you have it and you're out there without a mask, you're spreading it around. That makes it worse. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard to put a piece of cloth over your mouth for 15, 20 minutes.
It's irritating as hell. I just stay in.
It's annoying. Yeah,
I make adjustments to do.
If you don't like wearing the mask, then consider staying. And if you feel like you're at risk of people not wearing masks, please stay home. There are delivery services that will do literally anything for you.
The extreme
use them.
The extreme is the guy in the rubber gloves who's touching all kinds of things and then shuffling his mask all over the place, pulling it down, pulling it up.
Oh my God!
Because the gloves are carrying it all, right? You don't even get to wash those, right?
Don't wear the gloves.
It's make your choices, be smart, and just be smart. Do your thing, and
be nice to people too. Yeah, Come on, be better. Be better to your fellow man.
I would like people if people were nice to people.
people would be so much better if some people didn't suck.
All right, last question. Yes, and then we'll kind of do a thing here. How do you guys feel about our receivers, in particular Cephas and Fulgham? I'll tell you, Fulgham, he did not super impress me at Senior Bowl. By the same token, I thought I saw some stuff that he might have, like he might have some juice, and he was hampered by one of the worst QB classes ever to walk the face of Mobile, Alabama. I mean, it was just horrific, right?
Yeah,
and
it was.
I mean, it's hard to assess a receiver when he's trying to catch a ball, 14 feet away from him. It just doesn't work. So I have a lot of hope. I just don't know what we're going to see. Cephas, I feel like, is a guy, especially with the Okuda endorsement. If Okuda doesn't just BS, he's a pretty straightforward, honest dude.
Yeah, he is.
And when he gave that endorsement of Cephas, I really got very high on him. He said that
Cephas was the toughest guy that he faced.
Yeah.
A lot of that is size-based.
Yeah.
Cephas, he's a big dude.
Yep. He's not super fast, but he can move. He can cut well. He's cut well.
He's not. Speed is not amongst his assets, Chris.
Think about Anquan Bolden, though. Like when we had him, how productive he was, but he wasn't fast.
And that's the hope, is that he can be that big slot, the guy who's running drag routes and crossing routes underneath, and hopefully he picks off a linebacker or something like that. He's tough to tackle after the catch. Yep. So the hope is that, look, he's not going to get a lot of action. The top three receivers on this team are Galladay.
You mean game time?
Yes. He might score a lot more than.
He may have a different kind of game.
Yeah, he might have some game. I don't know that about him. Marvin, Galladay, and Amendola are going to catch, I will say, 92% of the wide receiver targets thrown this year. That's just fair. The way it is.
That's fair.
Marvin Hall is there. Germano Allison is there. I think they're fighting for that niche as the downfield speed guy. Allison's bigger. Hall's a little bit faster. One of the things that I've done in my tape reviews, I think I undersold Marvin Hall a little bit in my initial assessments. The more I watch him, the more I think there might be something here with this guy. So
interesting. Okay,
so they're fighting for one
radar. I had kind of written him off as a.
It would be real nice if he could play. He doesn't play special teams, and that if you're a number 4, number 5 wide receiver, you gotta play special teams.
Yeah.
And that's actually where Fulgham might have a shot at sticking. Will be special teams. He's not on this team to catch more than 10 passes.
So,
if Marvin or Galladay gets hurt, they're not going to roll with Travis Fulgham. They are going to sign somebody on the outside who's better than him, and it won't be all that hard to find someone.
Yeah. So with the Cephas thing, the one thing I would look for with him is staff seems to really find a good connection with those kind of big, not slower but not fast guys, right?
Yeah.
It's for him the ultimate check down, and he is good at finding those guys, and he elevates people. He makes those guys look good. Even if they are good, he makes them look better than they are. So
you used actually the key word that I was thinking of, elevate, right there.
Yep.
He loves throwing high fastballs in the end zone.
Yep.
Go get it, Cephas. That's where Marvin excelled last year. In fact, he had the most red zone contested catches of any receiver in the league last year.
Yep.
He had 6.
Yeah, exactly. And then that makes a difference in how these guys how they deliver at the end. You look at the NFL. Brandon's bringing it up here in the chat. The NFL is filled with a fast receiver. Right, this is kind of the 1-2 punch to switch it up, and because defenses now adjust to we've got to have fast guys. But if you have these fast guys, they may not be able to handle that size, and so it's a constant ebb and flow in the NFL about the type of secondary you have to cover this stuff. So this gives us a couple different options at receiver that may play well, and again, the elevation that Stafford brings to them, he may just be able to turn this group of receivers into something really, really special. So I'm anxious to see.
Let's hope so. Again, though, that after your top 3 receivers, you're not looking at anybody who's going to contribute much in 2020 unless there's massive injuries ahead of them.
Yep. Agnew is a wide receiver. It's still jury's out. A lot to be determined there.
He is making the team or not as a return man.
Yep.
He is so hit and miss as a return man.
Yep.
He went out. He's either brilliant or terrible. There's really no. He never has just like that kind of game. Yeah. He's like, oh my God, Agnew was amazing today. He's the reason we won. Or, oh my God, can we shoot this guy? leave him in Arizona.
Yeah.
Don't let him get off the plane.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that's So that's the thing. And we don't get to see him. Saw him working out with staff. So that's good. I'd love to see him put in the work.
It's very good that he's working with Stafford.
Yep,
that's cool.
Yep. So,
and he does have some gadget playability, which is kind of nice. That J.D. McKissick role is open. It can be him. It can be Huntley. It could be Ty Johnson, who another guy. I think I undersold Ty Johnson a little bit. He's your number 3 running back, you got a pretty good running back core.
Yeah.
He's there's something there.
I feel like we're pretty stacked and almost like stealthily stacked. Like it's a sleeper stack we have at running back this year.
Yeah.
That Swift pick really. I mean, I was shook when you remember. I was shook.
I'm still not crazy about taking a 2nd round running back because. And I said this on Big Drew and Jim, and they actually made a cut out of it. Every time you run the ball is a gift to the defense because you're taking the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands when he's got those receivers. And I do absolutely believe that. I think that this team, if they should ignore the run, I'm for it. I would love to see Stafford throw the ball 45 times a game. Obviously, that's not tenable over the course of the year. But when this team is going to win, it's going to be when Matthew Stafford is throwing the ball 40-plus times a game and not when they're running the ball 25 times a game. That's just not how they're built to win.
All right. On that bombshell, we will end the show. Riz, thank you. We went way longer than we thought we were going to, man.
It just happens, man. I got back from vacation. I had a lot to say.
But I could talk to you forever. You know that. I love hanging. All right. Remember, stick around. Oh, no, that was last week. Sorry. Don't worry. Don't stick around. Remember, this show needs your involvement. Use the comments.
Put that one on the next blooper reel.
Subreddit to give feedback. That's exactly what I was going to plug. You got me nailed. Use the subreddit, the comments of subreddit to give us feedback. We appreciate all that. It is your show as much as it's our show. We want to make sure it is the right show for you. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Get in there, get into the Slack. I'm telling you, you get your football fix and find a really good group of people to hang out with. Let's see, what else? We got the Facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, getting pretty active now. Instagram, Detroit Lions Podcast, and the Twitter machine at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast. Give us a follow. so you can see the Riz. Not only Suns Out, Guns Out, but pants free.
With no pants. Yeah.
Call us via Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast. It's all one word. It's our account, Detroit Lions Podcast, or call us on the Lions line, 929-33-LIONS, 929-335-4667. You can leave us a message. We'll get you on the show. And also, make sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com and subscribe to the podcast so we can come in your little MP3 box automatically. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, and no problems, baby, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Be safe. Woo! Love y'all.